Sul, hello, and Labus. Welcome to another episode of the Payne Family Ultimate Decades Challenge. The year is 1384. It's actually day 2, Monday, because as you know, we moved save files and just getting everything set up took an entire day. So it is actually already 5:37 in the morning on Monday. And we're here with the newly established Raphael's house. Sorry about the background. There's nothing we can do. That's just what this area looks like. But they live out here kind of separate. What do you mean a fire? You guys! Jillian! How did you do that? Jillian, I'm gonna take the bread. Oh my god. Well, that was a holy guacamole, Jillian. Raphael, what are we? Can you collect this, please? I'm not really sure. Okay, I think we're gonna get rid of that bread oven. I like it aesthetically, but I don't like what she just did. I don't like it at all. Oh yeah, she's a terrible cook. I forgot. Well, okay. So what I was gonna say, poor Ritus. Raphael, can you please potty train your son? That's what I wanted your wife to do. God. So this is their new little home. As you can see, it is quite little. Oh, there's still another one. Sorry, I'm just gonna destroy that. It's a bit shady, but listen, there's a lot going on. I've actually been recording for over an hour already because there are so many things going on in the background, which we'll talk about soon. But this is their new little home. It's got like kind of an open floor plan. As you can see, we've got the little dining room, chef area, toilet, some sitting area, some toys, and then their little bedroom. I actually really like this tiny little home. I think it's super cute. I don't know what my plan is for when they have more kids, but this is what we have right now. In fact, I don't think there's even a toddler bed. No, I was thinking that we could go up, like move up. But toddler bed's not really a problem for now. So in terms of this save file move, unfortunately, I discovered that some connections don't transfer between, even if the Sims that are connected as family members know that they're connected as family members, like inside of the cast. For example, like Edwin knew that Adam and Althea were his great niece, and that connection didn't survive the shift over. Even Adam and Althea were marked as cousins in Cass, and that didn't make the shift over either. So I guess you need the parents to be able to connect them, but I didn't end up doing that because I felt like it wasn't like I just felt like, at this point they're starting to be so distantly connected that I didn't really feel like it was a worthwhile use of energy to have to re-put in their parents and then get rid of them. Some of the Sims I did end up adding their parents in to reconnect them, like the Woodhamses, because they're all still brothers and sisters. So I wanted them to be connected. That was important to me. But a lot of the other ones I just kind of let do whatever and kind of lose those family connections. I thought it was fine. Hope that you guys agree and that you're not too upset about it. Other big changes are that Raphael and Jillian have moved out to their own little home, as you can see. The rest of the family is still at Vilcas's with Vilcas and Tasman. Beatrice, which is the vampire boy Wesley Martin, and our, I don't know, like great aunt at this point, and her daughter Celine. The three of them actually moved to England. They were catching some heat for basically not having aged for the last, I don't know what, like 40 years. And so things were getting a little bit heated in France and they had to leave. So they've moved to one of Wesley's other familial holdings in England, not that far from the main family. However, I will say that at the moment, Selma and Edgar, neither of them are at their own lodge for another thing that we'll discuss later. It's going to be a wild year, guys. It's going to be a wild year. Now, some Sims did not make the save file move. You might not remember them because we don't really talk about them too much. But the Sims who didn't make it over include Godwin Woodham's. The Woodham siblings all have like 8 or 10 baby tries each, and Godwin just wasn't speaking to me as much as his siblings, so I elected to not have him make the move over. Pate Smith and his single son also didn't make the move over. I feel like their story is complete for me. I'm not interested in carrying it forward. We know that they survived, so they can stay in a safe save file away from the madness, and the rest of the Smiths can shoulder the burden of trying to survive this crazy challenge. You might not remember, but Valeria Greystroke, who is kind of like, I don't know, second or third cousin to us at this point, she did make the move over because we discovered in one of the, when we were doing a sale, I think it was, we discovered that, oh my gosh, so cute. Oh, God, I love you. Oh. We discovered that she was pregnant. She was pregnant with Alfred Payne, who is Harper's only surviving child. And so they've since had the baby, they got married, and they are living in the save file, but they're not in our control. They're not on the spreadsheet, but we might see them in the background. Gunther and Albert are, of course, in here. They're over in Pirate World in their own little land, carousing and out on a raid. And Battle Freeman, who is one of Sten's illegitimate children and the executioner, he didn't make the save file move either. I do like him, but since he's an executioner, he can't actually. The people who were executioners didn't. Oh, hey, Ramunis, go ahead and invite your brother in. So it just kind of felt like it was a bit pointless to me to take up that spot. We can also move him in if we want to, but we don't need to. I think that that's all of the Sims who didn't make it over. For the sake of the spreadsheet and my sanity, I did go ahead and do some rolls for them in the background to see like what kind of a life they would lead, and to be able to like complete their, to be able to complete sort of like where they would have gone. I went ahead and rolled for them, and I had them go ahead to see like what kind of lives they would have lived and how old they would have been when they passed away. And so I completed the spreadsheet for them with that, which is why when I update the spreadsheet next, you might notice that some of the Sims pass away in the future. And that's because those are the Sims who didn't make the move over, you know? I think that's all of the major things. It took like most of today's day. You'll be talking to your Unky Ramunis. Unky Ramunis could have gotten married a while ago, bro, but there are so many Sims who could have gotten married. The teens really piled up. I feel like we got into a bad, like, sort of pattern, a bad cadence where, like, a bunch of the kids are kids at the same time, and then a bunch of them are teens at the same time. And so we spend, like, these periods of waiting for them to become marriageable, only to have, like, a whole bunch of them together. It's pretty wild. But Ramunis will probably start dating. Rightus, be cool, dude. Be cool. We're going to go see his family just as soon as we're finished with these guys. So on that note, I am going to leave Raphael's little family here. And we're going to pop over to Vilkos's family, where we're going to be talking about the history of this year and sort of just checking in on them. So I will see you in a moment when we get there. Okie dokie, so here we are at Vilkas Miskinus's home. We are going to be here for the rest of today, but basically everybody's out right now. Ramunis is over at Raphael's visiting his brother, and then Swayoni and Povilis are out foraging, and Vilkas is out hunting. Potasmin's over here. She's making a cake just so that we have it. I have gone ahead and changed their home a little bit because it wasn't really functional before, so now we've got a few more beds in here, including a toddler bed. And we have got like a little bunk area for the older kids, as well as I moved the exercise stuff over here since they spend a lot of time exercising, and I just kind of expanded the kitchen. It was really teensy weensy before. We're here, of course, to hang out with these guys. I did realize as I was moving over that it was Raphael's birthday. I'd already done his role in the background. He was successful. But I did mean to mention it while we were there and completely forgot. So my bad. So sorry. Here it is. To survive his young adult birthday, Raphael Miskinus cannot roll the numbers 6 or 14. Excellent, excellent. Now, in terms of the historical events around this time, a lot has happened. A lot has happened. As usual, you may remember that the last time we spoke about Lithuanian history, the cousins Jogaila and Vytautas were kind of in a really bad place. Jogaila had turned on his uncle Kęstutis and captured him, and then Kęstutis died while in captivity. Vytautas had also been taken captive during this time, and he had been able to escape by trading places with his wife. So the cousins, who had been really good friends, were no longer friends at this moment. They kind of hated each other, in fact. And Jogaila had done all of this kind of as a power play. He wanted complete control of Lithuania, and he promised to the order during this time that he would get baptized and he would be an ally to the Crusaders. But Vytautas had also offered the same once he was free, because he wanted to get revenge and take back his ancestral home. The then Grand Master of the Order, a guy named Conrad of Zollner, he, if you remember, had not been like the best equipped to be Grand Master, but everybody else was too old to be able to. And so he maybe wasn't the wisest choice, as we'll see over time. Grandmaster Conrad thought he was being really clever, and he made an agreement with both of the cousins, thinking he could play both of them and have his cake and eat it too. He sent Vytautas into Samogitian as governor. Samogitian had been given to the order by Jogaila, but the people there were not really happy about that arrangement. They weren't really down for it at all. And so he thought, oh, this will be great because Vytautas will go, he'll smooth the way, he'll get people to fall in line, and I'll also have him as a backup in case Jogaila works against me. However, Jogaila wasn't very happy about this. He told Grandmaster Conrad that him allowing Vytautas to come and be governor was allowing a snake to nurture at his bosom. So he really didn't like what the Grandmaster had done. However, the Grandmaster wasn't exactly pleased with Jogaila either. At this point, Jogaila was a year and some months past his agreement to get baptized, and he kept coming up with excuses, leading to the Grandmaster giving him an ultimatum. The Grandmaster said, listen, you've got 14 days notice to resume peace talks, or you better be ready for war. Jogaila didn't much care for getting pushed around. He didn't much care for ultimatums either, to be honest with you. And so Jogaila didn't fall in line, even though the Grandmaster had hoped that he would. And instead, they ended up going to war. Grandmaster Conrad summoned Vytautas' Samogitians, he summoned a Prussian militia, and he went after Jogaila. And for the next couple of months, Vytautas was working with the order, and together they were waging war against Jogaila, who also waged war back. It was kind of just long and drawn out, and nothing terribly interesting to me happened during that time, except for a bit of back and forth. Except for that Vytautas made a deal with the order during this time. He was baptized, and he was given a new Christian name. He promised the Crusaders he would give them the rest of Samogitian. He agreed to surrender Kaunas, and he promised he'd be a vassal to the knights in the future. However, importantly, he did not allow missionaries into Samogitian. He said, listen, people here are already upset about this ongoing war back and forth, about you guys having control over them, and they're not going to be pleased about you sending in missionaries, even though I promised to let you baptize them in the future. So the Grandmaster, again, maybe not the right choice for this job. Conrad was pretty pleased by all of this. He thought, oh, look, the order is working with Vytautas' people really well. They seemed unstoppable. They were capturing pagan leaders left, right, and center. He thought everything was going great. Except for it wasn't really. Vytautas by this time had already established himself safely in Samogitian, where people were already loyal to him, just as they had been loyal to his father. He saw himself as the one who was the reason for the victories they were having militarily. He had no plans to be anybody's vassal, and he wasn't as hateful to his cousin as the order thought that he was. So when Jogaila sent word to him saying that he would help him get his ancestral lands back, the cousins agreed to meet. Jogaila at that point promised to give Western Lithuania back to his cousin and to add even more lands, because his goal at that point was to marry Jadwiga of Poland, who was the only surviving child of Louis of Hungary and heir to all of Poland. She's actually like a really big deal historically and in terms of like the story of this area. And she's a big deal, like starting from now, but we aren't going to get to that part today. So Vitautus at this point turns on the order, and he wants to make sure that the order cannot benefit from anything that happened while he was working with them. So he made careful plans. First, he appeared in July at a castle in Georgienburg and told the castellan there that Jogaila was on his way and he needed to send for help, which the castellan did. And the castellan was like, "Man, you better come in here so you can help us defend this place." And so he invited Vitautus and 400 of his warriors in, and that was the end of that fortress. Shortly thereafter, another fortress went up in flames because Vitautus's main goal was to destroy the Order's strongholds that they were able to use to attack Samogitian and Lithuania. Their next target was Marienwerder Castle. It was a major crucial base for the Order to be able to attack like the heart of Lithuania and Samogitian and to be able to resupply their armies. And so it was a major one for him. By this point, though, the garrison knew that Vitautus was no longer on their side, but they weren't that worried. Vitautus didn't have siege weapons, and they didn't think it would be a problem. They were mistaken, because very quickly they got word from nearby lookouts that not only was Vitautus marching on them with his men, but Jogaila and one of his brothers were also marching with their armies as well. For 4 weeks, the cousins besieged the castle at Marienwerder, and it was like a long, drawn-out kind of situation where the two sides were literally throwing stones and shooting arrows at each other for 4 weeks, you know? By the time the Order's relief army arrived to help their men at Marienwerder, things were looking pretty bleak. Many of the people inside of the castle were injured or absolutely exhausted, and even as Grandmaster Conrad was looking over from across the river, he saw a stone decapitate the castellan. Isn't that crazy? Like, he's like looking over and he sees his castellan over there and he's like, "Hey bro, we're on our way to help you." And then bang, stone decapitation. Wild. To make matters worse for the Order, the Lithuanians had control of all of the strategic points around the castle. The Order could not get in or out. They couldn't resupply the castle. They couldn't get relief for the men inside. And it wasn't long before, once again, maybe not the best choice for Grandmaster, Conrad of Zollner ordered a retreat, and he left the garrison trapped inside to their fate. The siege went on, it dragged on for another month and a bit. Both sides actually were starting to lose hope of having any kind of success. Both sides were exhausted. But a Lithuanian warrior came up with a little trick. He slipped up to the wall, he talked to the vice castellan, and he said, "Hey man, I've got a wife and children at Ragnit. I know that you guys are exhausted. Do you want me to take a message to anyone?" The vice castellan there, he was super trusting. He wrote a message to the Grandmaster saying, "Hey, we're not going to last for another 2 weeks. I need you to get another relief army here now." Of course, that letter didn't make it to the Grandmaster. It made its way instead straight into Jogaila's little hand. And that was the moment that they had been looking for, just a moment of weakness and assurance that the enemy was about to fall. And so the Lithuanians filled the moat around the castle with wood and pitch, and they set it on fire. And Jogaila was like, "Hey man, you agree to surrender, and I promise I'll treat your captives well." Which he mostly did. Mostly, I say, because only a few knights were murdered and he only had one man decapitated. That was how it was said in the book, like, only a few knights were murdered and only one he had decapitated. Like, I don't know, only one he had decapitated. He chose, anyways, we'll move on. The rest of the castle, some 55 knights and another 500 assorted people, he took into captivity. And it was at that moment of his success with the siege that he made his marriage offer, naturally. He sent his brother to Poland with a promise to convert all of Lithuania to Christianity if Jadwiga of Poland would marry him. And for a moment, there was a brief pause in the war. And that's where we're going to pull the history for this part to a close. It's some wild stuff going on. Also on that note, though, I think I'm going to go ahead and leave the miscannesses here, and I will see you in the morning at the next household. So today is the start of day 3 of 1384. For me, it's a new day in real life. I bring this up because yesterday I was recording for over 2 hours because of so many things that happened in the background, so many rolls that happened, so many, well, you'll find out eventually. But I'm just bringing this up now because I don't know if I'm planning on doing all of 1384 in this one episode. But if it ends up dragging on too long, or it feels badly paced, or it feels like just too much stuff goes on that we're not that interested in, or it feels like it needs to be broken up, it might end abruptly. And I'm bringing that up now so that we know. Now we're here with the pains. Well, a pain, because some things have happened around here. There's been some big changes. Do any of these plants like need us? Yes, go ahead and start watering, start weeding, start getting to work, buddy. You may notice that it seems like something strange has happened and Esmond is here all alone. He is here all alone. It's quite a big change. So basically, there's and our money is different. Okay. We'll just sort of like hang back and watch Esmond doing this gardening work while we talk about this. So basically, a lot of stuff has happened in the save file move. We now have a ton of money because the main family had so much food and so much nectar, some of which had aged fully and some of which, of course, hadn't. And so it definitely did not make the gallery move. So I went and I sold a bunch of stuff at the Finchwick Fair. I sold basically everything we had so that I could figure out how much we basically had for products so that we would have something to get us started. And I thought, oh, I'll just buy back a bunch of our fruits or vegetables. Only that didn't really work because you can only purchase like a certain number from that. So I did just buy any vegetables and fruit that I could because I didn't want to be in a position where we didn't have any food. So while we do have more money now, we also have super low amounts of goods. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, although now it's just Esmond here currently. So it's not as bad as all of that. I also rolled to see when the Kingly visit would happen this calendar year, and it's going to be the final week of summer. So that's something to look forward to, I guess. And the reason why the house is empty is because of a couple of different things. First of all, Jenny had an apprenticeship arranged. It has been arranged for her to leave from the start of spring for years now. And so this year started the first day of spring. And so that's why she left. She is not super happy about it. Actually, she's really unhappy about it. She's a plant girl and her apprenticeship is in fact in the city. And so she's really displeased to be there, to be honest. But there's nothing really that can be done about that. She didn't have a choice in the situation. Like it was expected of her to go and to better herself in the future. Second, there is an important historical event that happens in 1385 that John of Gaunt played kind of a big role in. So I've adapted the war rolls to account for the fact that John of Gaunt in particular is a part of this. And I've said that Sims who live in his lands are more likely to go. So they got the tradespeople rolls. Everybody who doesn't live on his lands got the regular Sim rolls. And no knights were called to go to this one. The only Sims who were asked to go to this war campaign that happens in 1385 were Selma, Edgar, and Cole Smith. So I imagine that John of Gaunt is still angry with us and he's like still punishing us by sending us off to war. That's kind of my take on it. Lucia is currently not here as well. Oh no, I'm not going to get emotional about this again. Something bad happened, guys. Something quite bad happened. Go ahead and take a look. Go ahead and take a look. Oh my gosh, you guys. Althea is in labor. She's in active labor. Finally, it's been a long time coming. She's the only survivor now of her little line. Blanche. I think it was Blanche. Oh man, I can't remember. Okay, Althea, I'm really sorry it's the middle of the night. Well, it's only 10:23. I completely forgot to get a midwife here. It's really my bad. I'm so sorry for the extra risk. Go, Althea, go. You can do it, Althea. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh my gosh, Lane is running in. They actually have a really nice relationship. Did you guys know that? We all believed that Lane could be a better guy than he was before, and he's been a good husband. Oh my goodness, please let this go well. Oh, it's a girl. Like, keep her last name as of Lancaster. And I kind of feel like Althea is like really into like Arthurian legends and sort of like myths and stuff. So I thought that a good name for her daughter could be Isolde. Okay. Twins. Okay. Another name from, I think, Arthurian legend is Enid, which I think is a nice name. Shut up. Oh no. No, nobody survives triplets. Andy didn't get a midwife here, and it's her first child, so that's another number. So that's like 1 to 11, 15, and 20. 1 to 11, 15, and 20, right? That's my own rules. Igraine is the name of the mother of King Arthur. Oh my god, Althea, why? It's not a happy game. It's not happy. We're gonna lose Althea. Oh no. Oh god, we're screwed. Oh no. You guys, this isn't gonna go well. I can tell. I know it's not gonna go well. I've never seen people make it through the triplet roll. Some of you have said in the comments that you have, but I've never seen it happen. For Althea to survive this roll, she cannot roll the numbers 1 to 11, 15, or 20. She has to roll 3 times. First baby. Right off the jump. Second baby. Third baby. So it doesn't matter. She was there. All of them were wrong. All of them were bad rolls. I probably shouldn't have done that too. Those should have been for the babies, but I don't care. I had to know. And for baby number 1 to survive, they can't roll 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, or 20. Baby 1 lives, Isolde. What about baby 2, Enid? Enid doesn't make it, and the third one, Igraine. Igraine doesn't make it, so just 1 baby. Oh no. I feel so bad for Althea. Oh no. Oh, I don't know why this one's really hurting. Oh god. Oh my gosh. She looks so unique. Go, Cora, go. You can do it. You can do it. You've got a midwife with Marion, kind of. She's here. She's had a baby before. That's all we need is for her to remove one of those numbers. So go, Cora, go. This is the first Fitzroy child born in quite a long time. And baby must be here. It's a boy. Adam. Number 4. Okay. Man, this is a long line of Adams. To culminating just one currently. Emerson should be an infant, but I didn't want to come over here and deal with it, so. Okay, go ahead and bounce and rock and cuddle. And who's over closest? Aldrich, would you please age up the baby? Thanks. Appreciate it. Oh, whoops. I closed at some point the D20. So for Cora to survive this birth, she cannot roll the numbers 1 or 11. That's it. Oh my god. Oh gosh. I don't. That's what I get for closing the dice. That's exactly what I get for closing the dice. My god. This is a terrible start to this new save file. We will plead for her for fork's sake. Bullshit. I call bullshit. For the baby to survive, he cannot roll the numbers 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, or 20. Well, at least the baby lives. Oh my gosh, she just plopped down. Dang. Can we please plead? Demand? Plead. I've learned my lesson. The emotional ones aren't... Oh god, I should have looked it up first. Grim? Grim says no? Sorry, Cora. You were here for a moment, and then you weren't. And, sorry, Adam. You were married for a year or 2, and then widowed. My apologies. It happens to the best of us. So as a result of that, Lucia is not with us currently. She has gone to help both of the widows Adam Fitzroy and Lane of Lancaster sort of like recover and care for their children. She already has a soft spot in her heart for Adam because of, he helped her out at the war campaign and gave her some place to like kind of recover before coming home after she was like treated badly while she was away at the war campaign. And so she wants to be there to help them. And that just leaves us with Esmond. Esmond survived his drought roll totally fine. But the thing about this drought year, so in 1384, there was a drought that was pretty bad. According to the sources, the deepest wells failed in England. And so I added that into the challenge because it led to a lot of reported crops deaths. So a lot of crops died during this time, which of course has an impact, like it's a knock-on impact. Once one thing happens, it tends to affect other things. So a bunch of the crops died. And after that, of course, a bunch of animals died because there weren't enough crops to feed them. And then there was a little spot of dehydration / famine because of that, but definitely not as bad as other ones. I was reading something, I saw something recently, and it was talking about how in the 1300s, there were 13 famines that lasted between 1 and 4 years in England alone. So, like, famines were pretty common during this time. And so that's why I added in the role for the human sims as well. In terms of the chickens, a bunch of the chickens died. The golden chicken survived their role, and the golden chick also survived their role, but I don't know which one it is. So I was going to wait until they're older to figure it out. But all the other chickens died, so I'll have to get some more and replace them. This black rooster, I don't know where he is, otherwise I'd delete him. The cow survived her role. Congratulations, cow. We should probably name you now that you're going to survive. And of the mini sheep and the mini goat, the mini sheep didn't survive its role, but the mini goat did. So are you the sheep? No, you're the goat. Oh man, the Dalmatian sheep? Oh, bye. And so we need to get another mini sheep at some point. Oh, and when I rolled for our crops death, we rolled to lose a quarter of our crops, which isn't that bad. What that means is I'm going to go around and start deleting approximately one from every section. Everill's in labor. Okay, I'm on my way to handle that in just a second. Sorry for gasping so loud. What are you? Garlic? We're not getting rid of garlic. Ugh, one of our precious potatoes. Okay, I'm gonna go and help out Everil, and when we get back, Esmond has done all of his chores. He's hungry, and so I think it's about time that we go out with our friend, and he will go on another date and get to know some new people, and we'll see how that goes. So let's pop over to Everil and Cade's. Percival aged up recently. He aged up to an infant. Free roll. Look at the guy. His sweet brother Sandrew's holding him. It's so adorable. Look at these two. Okay, Everil, let's do this thing. Oh, she wants to be friendly with Prudence. See? Uh-oh. Are you going to make it to the bassinet? This is going to be fast. Hold on. Let me get sorted because this is going to be a fast one. Go, Everil, go. Please do not be another one like the ones that we've lost today. The baby must be here. Yes, it's a girl. Heck yeah, dude. I actually had picked out names. I thought they were going into labor earlier, but then I thought, oh no, we've got more time. So I picked out the name Sabina. I thought it was really pretty. Oh, thank goodness it's just a single baby. You guys, we got so lucky. I'm happy about that. Yay, Sabina! Okay, go ahead and bounce her and rock her. We won't stay here for too long. So, of course, the dice were closed since yesterday, and this is the first roll that we've done today. So, for Everil to survive this birth, she cannot roll the numbers 1 or 11. That's it. She's fine. And for the baby to survive, she cannot roll the numbers 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, or 20. Oh, heck yeah. Whoop, whoop. Maybe yesterday was just unlucky. You know, the very first day of a new save file. Maybe that's what it was. I guess we should have gone to a restaurant because we're actually hungry. Ah, Beatrice! Like I mentioned earlier, she and her family have moved over here. The Kirklands should not be here. And they're actually like quite wealthy. Oh my god! Look at their friendship. Let's go ahead and share some photos with you, Leontine, if that's how we say your name. And can we get to know you? So here she is. She's pretty cute. She's a pretty cute girl. I don't know anything about her personality. I did make her. Oh, she's cheerful. And other than that, I don't know. Oh, we've got to ask you if you're single. Cookie dokes. Whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't expect that from... I'm sorry, that was so loud. I did not expect that from him or from her. But you guys know, I won't... Oh, dang it. I didn't put in the version that has the fixed roof. I don't interfere when they make decisions like that. Who are you? Lee John. Must be a townie. It's nice because now all of the townies get generated with the correct outfits. There are some new townies out and about, like that I've created, but oh gosh, Yaroslav is like, what the hell are these peasants doing? And then she and Osbert are like, we're out of here. This is not the place for nobles like us, dude. Maybe we can... Sir, can you get out of our conversation, alien? Sir. Can you do your job so that we can kindly have, why are you in our conversation too, bro? Get out. Can you do your job so that we can get some food? We're supposed to kiss, and now we have a high enough relationship that we can. Oh no, she's cold. I might go ahead and ask her to change her outfit, but I can never remember where it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, he's having his first kiss. I can't remember if he had a first kiss with the other girl. They are missing each other's mouths, but I mean, they were close to kissing. She seems pretty happy. And we can flirt with you and we'll discuss your interests, see what you're like about. And could we get to know more of your traits as well, please? Just to see what kind of a sim you are. I'm really shocked that he did that. He wants to ask her on a date, even though they're already on a date. Cheerful, proper, he's very attracted to her. That's all we know so far. Interesting. Why isn't anybody... Can you please do your job? I'm really hungry. Can we please have cottage pie, sir? If you don't mind. Thank goodness. Go ahead and eat your food before somebody steals it. That's a real problem. I don't think she's pregnant. She hasn't done any of the idle animations that normally come with pregnancy. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Mr. Tapper was just attracted to Alejandro Dickens. Why are there so many aliens here? Is it aliens night? Is that what the thing is? Maybe. Oh, but that reminds me. So about the townies, the Plowmans had pretty much completely died off. It was down to Audrey. She did have one daughter. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think that was a pregnancy animation. If she is pregnant, do you guys think that we have to marry her? I feel like, that is what Esmond would do. But do you guys think we must marry her? I'm tempted to peek, but then we'd know first of all if and also what. Well, we got charged, so we better get our drinks, dude. Grab your drink, pick it up. Don't let anybody else steal it. Oh, good. Oh, Vilcus, what are you doing here, buddy? They do seem, I mean, they obviously get along quite well. They almost immediately became like super best friends. And then she was the one who initiated the romance, but he didn't seem to mind it. And do they have good compatibility? Yeah, they have amazing, no, good compatibility. And he is very attracted to her. So that's good. It's just that I wasn't quite ready for him to be like settling down and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this if she's pregnant, but she might not be. It could be that she's not pregnant at all. I'm just gonna let them get up to whatever they get up to and see what the situation is. And if something interesting happens, I'll like, pull you guys back so that you can see. Oh my gosh, she just became best friends with like Beatrice too. Now I will say this date is like coming to a close, and I will say that I've noticed that he has not initiated anything romantic. He did not initiate the woohoo, and the only romantic things he's done were things that I did because the date asked him to. But he hasn't initiated anything romantic on his own. And in fact, he's been talking to like his distant relations, Isla and Beatrice. So I just don't know that he feels that strong of a romantic connection. I think that he might feel more like she's attractive and he didn't want to like say no or anything, but he might not be really that into her. Might not really feel that strong of a connection with her, which is kind of sad because then he just did his first woohoo but didn't really plan for it to go anywhere. So I don't know. You guys have to let me know what you think about Leontine by comparison to the other sim that he went on the date with. But I felt like he was more romantic with the other sim, and he's been less romantic with Leontine, so I kind of feel like she's just more of a friend. But oh wow, what a interesting sort of thing going on here. I mean, they didn't even really talk to each other towards the end of the date either, which I think is quite strange. So I don't know. You guys let me know. You guys let me know. We haven't seen either any more evidence that she is pregnant, any more idle animation. So maybe she's not. Who knows? Who can say? He slept pretty late. Oh, he wants to chat with Lucia. So that's the other thing that I guess I should say is that the holidays are a little bit messed up now. No, I don't do talk like a pirate day. Because, of course, I mean, the save file move was like pretty exhausting, to be honest with you guys. It took forever. And I just got to the point that I didn't really want to keep going, like going back and forth and doing all of that stuff. So I didn't put the holidays over exactly as they had been. I did keep the same holiday like activities. It's just that they're on slightly different days because I couldn't figure it out. I wasn't smart enough to figure out the calendar. So it's a little bit off. Oh my gosh, he's going to be the only one to deal with the laundry. He's got to cook for himself. He's all alone here. This is like a lot of work to have to deal with as a single sim. Like this whole garden. Did we get any weeds or bugs? Bugs would be bad because the bugs take a long time to deal with, but it looks like we're okay for bugs and weeds. We might be okay for watering too. I'm glad that the chickens, it's so weird because the chickens did make the move through the gallery, and so did the cow and the sheep and the goat. Like they were not part of the family, obviously, and they somehow made the move along with the house. So I don't really know why it worked that time, but it didn't work when they just moved lots from one lot to the other in one save file. It's so strange. I will say that this save file does seem to be a lot smoother. I haven't had any last exceptions at all since I've been recording, actually, now that I think about it, which is pretty crazy because in the earlier save file, there were last exceptions all the time. I think it was partially just like a lot of things that had been going on for a really long time. And so I think we did the right thing in making the move. But for anybody who's thinking about doing it yourselves, it is a lot of work, just like going through and getting all of the houses and all of the households and placing them took forever. But now that it's done, it's paying off. So there we have it. Yay, we fasted. So I did want to say, though, that in terms of the drought survival, there were a couple of different parts to it. So for the Sims, I had it be so that the Sims could... Who is the goat, buddy? Sorry, I get distracted by the animals, like, pretty easily. So in terms of the drought survival for Sims, there were two parts. They basically had to roll on a d20 where one number meant that they would pass away from dehydration, and the other number meant that they would get a sickness, which could have been dysentery, ergotism, or typhus. And so when I rolled, a handful of Sims did roll to pass away. Those were Harold Payne, Conrad Brewer, Constance Smith, and Kira of Woodhams. I pled for both Harold and Kira. Kira was able to be saved, but Harold was not. So he actually passed away, and his wife Valdis is currently pregnant. So she is going to go into labor, and if the baby doesn't make it, then that is the end of both Valdis and Harold's contribution, which also would mean that's the end of like I guess it would be Esmond's uncle Kenric, who passed away during the last plague. That would be the end of his line as well. Another handful of Sims also failed the disease roll. Those included Rose Brewer, who got typhus, Jane de Fenwick, who got ergotism, and Eyebrows of Harrowdale, also known as Aldrich, who got dysentery. So I've already done Rose and Jane's survival for those diseases, and they actually both were fine. It was really shocking. But I haven't yet done Eyebrows roll for survival because I'm kind of scared because dysentery can spread pretty easily. So we'll go ahead and talk about dysentery now so that we can figure out what it is that's going on. Now, dysentery is kind of a complicated disease because the name dysentery refers to the symptoms that come from a few different things. So there's a lot of different sources of getting dysentery, although two are the major causes of dysentery, which we'll talk about those too. So dysentery itself refers to bloody diarrhea. That means like loose or liquid stool with visible blood and mucus. That is what dysentery refers to. It is notable to say that if you can see blood in your stool, that means there's probably a lot of blood in your body, which means it's kind of a problem and kind of a big deal. And there are a lot of different things that can cause this. It could be E. coli, it could be salmonella, it could be typhus as well. But there are two main causes of dysentery that we'll talk about and focus on. One of them is Entamoeba histolytica, which is the agent of what is more easily called amoebic dysentery. Basically, what happens in that case is that at some point you ingest amoeba dysentery cysts, and they travel down to your intestine where they live pretty happily for a while. They'll eat your food and they'll eat the bacteria in your stomach until that isn't enough anymore. Entamoeba histolytica becoming dysentery only happens in about 10 to 20% of infected people, meaning that 80 to 90% of people who consume these cysts have it and are not symptomatic and nothing bad happens to them. However, if it does become dysentery, what has happened to create that is that the amoeba has attached itself to your epithelium inside of your gut. It mobilizes those cells and it eats away at them until it can burrow into your gut wall. As you might be able to imagine, something burrowing into the insides of your gut isn't great. And what makes it even worse is that the amoeba can then go straight to your portal vein, which is kind of a big deal in our bodies because it drains blood from the intestine to the liver. And once it's in the portal vein, it can go straight to the liver, which is its favorite place to hang out. In fact, people who are symptomatic with this kind of dysentery, in 75% of cases, they have complications with their liver because of the amoeba going straight there. Once it's in your amoeba, it kills off chunks of liver cells, which leads to your body trying to fight it, which leads to abscesses in your liver. And that is the most common cause of death if it gets that far, the amoebic form. During this time, infected people are shedding cysts, which helps it spread around to new victims. Because people who have amoebic dysentery can be infected with it for weeks and weeks, it can be really slow moving. And what helps it to spread, and is kind of a cool, if disgusting fact, is that cysts can live and remain infectious for 12 days in cool, moist environments, or for up to 30 days in water, which means that if water gets contaminated with these cysts, it will live there and be infectious for 30 days. Archaeological evidence from Switzerland, Greece, and France show that amoebic dysentery dates all the way back to 5,700 BC, which means that it basically has existed ever since humans lived together and pooped together. Another major cause of dysentery is the Shigella bacteria, which commonly is the cause of epidemics after times of natural disasters or upheavals, like times of drought, famine, or war. Shigella has at least 4 different species that mostly cause diarrhea, but in some cases lead to fatal diarrhea, just like amoebic dysentery, only it works a little bit differently. However, the same sort of beginning of the process happens. It is transmitted through contaminated water, contaminated food. You ingest the bacteria, and it's incredibly infectious. It only takes 10 to 15 bacteria to infect a person, which is a really small number. Although I will say that every disease we've discussed so far in this challenge has been a very infectious disease. Shigella, like I said, you ingest it and it travels down to your intestine or to your colon, and it replicates as it goes. Once it gets to where it wants to be, it invades the lining of your gut, which causes a massive response in your body as your body is trying to fight it, that unfortunately ends up destroying the cells that line your gut wall, and that allows the bacteria to invade even further. At this point, the bacteria has been replicating along its journey so much that when it gets to this point, the bacteria could be in the thousands. And all of those bacteria are burrowing into your gut wall, which causes tons of tiny holes on your insides, which is what leads to the blood in the stool. Shigella is one of the big causes of epidemics of dysentery in times of disaster, and it's also more dangerous or more likely to become dysentery than the amoebic dysentery is. Shigella is a lot more fast moving. It tends to happen within a few days. People can get the Shigella bacteria and they can have like mild symptoms for a few days and get over it. But if it progresses to dysentery, then infected people can pass up to 20 stool a day. So you're just like out there losing water, losing electrolytes, your blood, you're losing a lot of blood along the way. It leads to heart arrhythmias, it leads to a lot of complications. For the most part, though, Shigella at least doesn't leave the intestine. In rare cases, it can, but that's really super rare. But on the downside, some species of Shigella actually produce toxins as part of their life cycle, so that's an extra risk that the amoebic dysentery doesn't do. Shigella is also more abrupt, and it manifests more like what we expect from foodborne illnesses. But regardless of if you get amoebic dysentery or bacillary dysentery, which is what Shigella is an example of, even if you survive, if it has manifested all the way to dysentery, you will eventually die without surgery because you have all of these lesions inside of your stomach, all of these perforations within your stomach. And without surgery, those are just going to stay open. In modern times, of course, this is totally treatable, but any disease that causes dysentery, whether it's E. coli, salmonella, typhoid, entamoeba histolytica, or one of the Shigella family, if that progresses to dysentery, it's already super severe. The attack on your stomach and on your gut biome is remarkable, like it's incredible. And so it can have long-lasting complications even with treatment. Unfortunately, it's super prevalent in a lot of places around the world. It often pops up again after disasters, whether that's a drought, a flood, a war, a famine, anything, any kind of disruption. It's estimated that even today, Shigella alone causes between 165 to 188 million cases of diarrhea or dysentery globally each year. And that includes approximately 60 million cases in children under the age of 5. Which is one of the biggest bummers about dysentery, is that historically it has been feared as far back as human history goes because it is a major leading cause of child death in historical situations. The young, the old, and the immunocompromised are the population who are often most affected when outbreaks of dysentery happen, and that's such a bummer. Unfortunately, dysentery isn't going to go away anytime soon. It has a lot of things that can lead to it happening. And Shigella, which is one of the main culprits of epidemics of dysentery, is also one of the first bacteria that ever displayed multi-drug resistance, going back as far as 1950s. In the 1950s, it started showing that it was resistant to multiple drugs. So Shigella is going to keep going on and adapting. That hasn't changed in the almost 80 years since it started showing multi-drug resistance. So in terms of how it plays out in the challenge, I've landed on a set of rolls where first, if you get dysentery, then you have to flip a coin where heads means you get amoebic dysentery and tails means you get bacillary dysentery, the form caused by Shigella. If you get amoebic dysentery, you roll on a d20 where the numbers 5, 10, and 15 mean you don't survive. It's an average of 15%, given that it's a 10 to 20% chance that it progresses to dysentery instead of just like, a mild infection. If you get bacillary dysentery, though, you roll a d10 where the numbers 3, 5, 7, and 9 mean that you don't survive, because for bacillary dysentery, there's a 30 to 50% chance that it will progress to full-blown dysentery. And so 4 numbers out of 10 is 40%, which is the average of 30 to 50. So we will see how it goes for Eyebrows of Harrowdale now. Heads means he gets amoebic dysentery, tails means bacillary. We're actually hoping for heads here. It's better. Okay, we got lucky. Heads it is. We do not want the numbers 5, 10, or 15 for Eyebrows, so good luck, bud. Okay, he's fine. Now, the big problem is that it can spread, and it can spread pretty easily. So we're going to roll a d4 where the number 1 means that it spreads to that person. Marion Greystroke. Adam Fitzroy. Oh, thank God. Emerson. And Adam the 4th. Oh my gosh, we got so lucky. After the absolute bloodbath that was yesterday's recording, I am incredibly pleased about that. Thank goodness. So in terms of the background events, at the Greystrokes, at James Greystroke's house, his daughter Lana became a toddler successfully. At Harold and Valdis's home, however, Harold passed away after dehydrating because of the drought, not knowing that Valdis was pregnant, and Grimm would not spare him. At the Brewers, a lot of stuff happened with the Brewers. Piper survived her young adult birthday and the birth of her first child, a daughter named Griselda, who was also okay. Conrad passed away from dehydration as a result of the bad drought this summer, and Briar was up for her young adult birthday, which she was successful with. The result for who she'll marry isn't coming in until the day that this video is posted, so I don't know yet either, but we'll find out soon who she's married to and what their little lives look like. At the Defenwicks, Honoria became an infant, Eugenia became a toddler, and Jane Defenwick got ergotism because of the poor crop conditions, but managed to survive miraculously. And at the Jacobsons, Edwin II became a toddler successfully. That's their only child right now, but they are expecting again. So anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed this part. There was a lot of stuff that happened, I know. Oh my goodness. And as always, let me know your thoughts and ideas in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.